Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for League of Legends Creepypasta. Tonight's reading, They Can't Hear You, by SSJ2. My name is Lewis and I'm 14 years old. I've been a huge fan of League of Legends since the early release of the beta. But this match changed my view. I am terrified. Terrified of this match. Terrified of this game. And terrified of what happened ever since. I've always considered myself as a happy person with a good sense of humor, and I really enjoy horror movies. Until it happened. I had read a lot of creepypastas recently, and I thought they were interesting, but too good and creepy to be true. Well, I was wrong. I'm a silver ELO player, stuck with the feeders and the levers, and stuck with it. It won't let me go. It is like a nightmare. I keep on thinking about it. It. The game that changed everything. So I ranked up in solo queue. I picked Thresh support as usual. I kept LOL record running in case something amazing would happen. In fact, something did happen. Nothing amazing though. Something terrifying. When I picked Thresh, it felt rather strange. He wouldn't make a sound when I clicked on him. Like the sound files were missing. I would have felt confused if it wasn't for my music. My music was so loud, it would have been easy to overhear something. When the game finally started, I started to feel strange and like I'm being watched. I kept turning around to see if someone was watching me. If something was watching me. Sometimes I even heard a noise, like someone was hiding, trying to hold back their breath and trying not to make a single sound. Those noises were imaginary, though, because it can't make a noise. I bought my wards and ran straight up mid lane to be able to hook or lantern someone in case of an invade. But it weren't the enemies invading us. It was it invading me. And apparently my grammar. Thresh began to say strange phrases. Phrases I had never heard before. Phrases in such a demonic voice. So demonic everyone would have turned out the game. Well, I didn't. Suddenly, my music shut it off. YouTube seemed to work just fine. It wasn't muted either. I didn't want to quit. I'm not such a lever, and it's just someone pulling a prank on me. It's my imagination, is what I kept telling myself. Suddenly, Thresh began to talk again. Right when an enemy stepped out of the fog of war. It was Nocturne, the enemy jungler. Thresh said,
"You can't hide from us. We are the darkness."
I was terrified, badly. I was asking summoners on all chat if Thresh had new sound files. Nocturne was the only one to respond. He wrote,
"They can't hear you. No one can."
I freaked out. I tried to shut off the game, but no reactions. Suddenly Thresh used his hook by himself, saying,
"You can't flee. You are in too deep."
Besides the strange phrases he had said, he was I'm guessing he meant quiet, and we were winning our lane just fine. Our jungler had sitted us hard, and my hook seemed to be champion directed, not like a skill shot. They always hitted. Right when I thought that and hooked the enemy Ezreal, Thresh said,
"Come here. Never leave."
I felt more and more comfortable with what he said. Like it were normal phrases, a sound file redo. But it was also coincidental. I kept playing, forgot my music was still not playing. We were winning the game. Finally, a win in an only lose series, were my thoughts. The game went down. So did my computer. I turned it back on. I didn't want to be the one causing a lose for my team. Everything was normal. I reconnected to the game and was standing at the base of the fountain. I hadn't died in the time. Luckily, my score was 3-0 and 18 at the time. When I right-clicked to get out of the base, Thresh said,
"There you are. Thought we had lost you."
Again? It's no coincidence, it can't be. I turned around, sometimes twice, just to look if there was something in my room. My team was doing well without me. We had gotten Baron Nashor and won a team fight. We were about to end the game when Thresh hooked someone in the enemy base. the enemy Nocturne. Thresh pulled himself up into the fountain.
You won't survive this.
Me doing nothing but staring at what just happened. The game closed again. My team had finished before I was able to reconnect. I looked into the Machistery. A lose. Not an ordinary lose, though. It said lose, map, life or death. Luckily I had LOL records running, right? No, I started the replay. The loading screen had a rough time loading. I was nervous trying to look at this game. The creepy feelings came back. Then the game started. The game that made me feel this awkward. Noon could ever imagine. I instantly cried when the game started. Crying because of fear. The background wasn't Summoner's Rift. It was something else. Something strange. I never played this map. If it was a map. It was just a black background. Every champion texture was missing, but Threshes and Nocturnes. At 30 seconds, the announcer said in a creepy voice,
"Ready to live through that again?"
I quitted the replay. I deleted it. I deleted everything in my trash can. I did all to get rid of the game and forget what just happened. It's not easy to forget. Forgetting is an act of relief. You can't forget something you are focusing on. Focusing on. Reminded on. Everywhere I looked, I saw something. It. Something unexplainable. I heard strange noises, strange voices. I ran upstairs just to be around my parents, not to die of fear. But the texture was missing. My parents were black silhouettes. Nothing more, nothing less. I guess it took me, took my parents, took my will to live, took my ability to die, and everything else. I am not quite sure if I'm alive, if I'm dead, if there is someone able to hear my calls for help, but I know there is someone able to read about my story. The story that changed my life. The story that changed the point of living. The point of existing. The point of ending the game. Well, that's the end of the story. Make sure to join us next time. Thanks for listening.